Across Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific, this is the week's Adventist News in Focus with David Gibbons.
Expectations that the worldwide Seventh-day Adventist Church will formally consider women's ordination this year have been disappointed. In the lead up to June's General Conference meetings in Atlanta, USA, it looked like women's ordination would be put on the agenda. But after consultation with church leaders around the world, Church President Jan Paulsen said a vote on the issue would produce division. Church leaders in the South Pacific who proposed the agenda item are clearly disappointed.
Naturally, we wish that the vote had gone a different direction. Of course, we honour the unity of the world church, but at the same time we honour the way in which God calls men and women to ministry.
A majority of delegates meeting at General Conference sessions in both 1990 and 1995 voted no on women's ordination. Delegates from North America and Europe led the calls for change, with church leaders in the developing world opposing it. In a historic first, a Christian TV program will be played on ANZAC Day on free-to-air TV. A forgotten chapter of military history will be revealed on Australia's 7 network in prime time. Viewers will learn of the contribution Army chaplains made to the ANZAC legend.
And the chaplains did so much to provide those little comforts that eased the burden on the soldiers. And soldiers, as well as families at home, really appreciated having a clergyman read the service over their fallen comrades.
The failed Gallipoli campaign in the First World War has national significance to Australians, New Zealanders and Turks. Over 8 months, nearly 400,000 men were killed in battle. Expert commentary is provided by Dr. Daniel Renault, an Associate Professor at Avondale College and an ANZAC specialist. The faith of the ANZACs is presented by It Is Written Oceania. The program will be seen on various channels, including Channel 7 in Australia and TV2 in New Zealand. Over 40,000 people crowded into Toowoomba's Queen's Park for Australia's largest drug and alcohol-free event. Newsboys headlined the 3-day festival with their new lead singer Michael Tate, formerly of DC Talk. Other acts included Super Chick, rapper KJ52 and Stan Walker, winner of television's Australian Idol Talent Quest. But while Christian music is the big draw card, Easterfest organisers wanted to broaden the program. Days started with morning devotions, speakers lectured on various topics and local churches were involved with presenting worship services.
Well, we were honoured to be asked by Easterfest to orchestrate an Adventist worship service, and so we put together a spiritual program of music and drama and a message from the Bible. And the audience responded very positively. And so we're hopeful we'll be able to do it again at Easterfest 2011.
One of Australia's largest private hospitals is at the centre of a $780 million redevelopment plan. The New South Wales government has approved the plan, which includes 500 new dwellings, shops, a school and aged care facility.
This is a significant development for the area and for New South Wales, and it goes a long way towards providing some of that additional accommodation that we need.
The Sydney Adventist Hospital will benefit in terms of an additional 200 hospital beds and accommodation for workers and nursing students.
Look, there's a fair bit got to go into the final detailed design, but we're ready to go and start the next stages straight away.
Pastors in the Pacific Islands often spend days walking the bush tracks to get to each of their various churches. But for 10 pastors in the Solomon Islands, those days are over. Each of them has received a 110cc Yamaha trail bike, which will travel where cars cannot go. Retired Australian pastor David Lawson worked with church leaders in the Solomon Islands to order the bikes.
The pastors in the Solomon Islands are now able to conduct Bible studies, outreach programs, and just be able to move around their territory far quicker and far more effectively, which is going to have huge results as far as our work is concerned.
Funding for the bikes came from the Adventist Church, private donors, and from the proceeds of Lawson's books. And now Head of News and Editorial Pablo Lillo joins us with the latest edition of Record. Hi Pablo.
Hi David, good to see you.
I noticed that on the cover here you have Dr. Ben Carson. You know, we've had a lot of people say how much they enjoyed his interview with me on InFocus.
And you know, thousands turn out to visit Gifted Hands. $1.5 million was donated for medical clinics in the South Pacific and youth decide their own future.
Oh, good. Looking forward to seeing the record this week. Thanks, Pablo. And you can watch the full half hour of InFocus every Friday night on Foxtel Channel 182, the Hope Channel and Shine TV in New Zealand. And you can also watch it online at infocus.org.au. Well, that's the news for this week. Thanks for joining me. I'm David Gibbons. Yeah.